All right, welcome back, Black Magic TV, in once again the new set, but with new lighting, new look. Thanks to our friend and former guest of the show, Nick Stacy. Today we have another longtime friend. One might call an OG in the scene, a skater, a vanner, just a punk rocker, Mr. Ryan Hood.
What's up?
Hey Ryan, thanks for coming over.
Yeah.
I guess I was trying to think, like, we've known each other so long that I can't even like pinpoint.
It'd
Like,
probably been like
I had to meet you when I was a teenager, going to shows, because there is no like pivotal moment where I'm like, this is the day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I was bouncing, I already knew you, so it had to be from that. Like that's the only thing I could think of, was like I must have, like, from going to like just going to shows like the
Yeah.
El Torion or something. Like
I went to El Torre like right at the very end.
right. That would have been when
My
I
wife went to the El Torre
Right.
and like got dropped off by her parents.
right.
You know? So,
Yeah. No, and I went there as a teenager. We would drive, like, we had cars, but we would go there.
Yeah.
Like, every night of the week we used to go there.
Yeah.
But I also ran with, like, older cats.
Yeah,
Like,
and you know what's weird is like, you know, I'm in my mid 40s,
yeah.
and
Yeah, because I'm 40. I'll be 40 this year.
yeah, so I'm 4 years older
Right.
than you, almost 5.
Okay.
But no, like I lived down in Springfield for a long time. I was into all the same shit in Springfield that I'm into up here. I was down there for college, but I came
Right.
up here all the time for shows.
Right.
Because
Are you
Springfield's
from
amazing.
here originally?
No,
Where are you from originally?
I was born in Sacramento,
Okay.
and then went to college in Springfield, and then moved up to Kansas City.
Right. Got out of that meth town immediately.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
That's like, that is a wild place.
Dude, it was. It's very different.
Yes.
Like it was, I mean,
Springfield is very different.
and moving to that area from where I was from was very. It's a fucking culture shock, man.
Right.
Like 100% a culture.
Because even being from Sacramento, like Northern California, that's like totally different than what people think about, like, from here. Like what most people would have back then would have perceived as California
Oh, yeah.
would have been like Southern California. That's what
Yeah.
everybody thinks about,
And
right?
well, that's pretty much like, you know, like what people think of California is about a 3-mile strip that goes up and down
Right.
the beach. The rest of California, man, it's woods, farmland.
Right.
You know, it's agriculture. Sacramento's the capital. Sacramento was fucking shithole for years, bro.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, boarded up buildings. Drugs got really bad. Gangs got really bad in Sacramento. But now they're cleaning it all up. Like the 30-somethings moved in, you know, 10
Yeah.
years ago. Started redoing downtown and shit. But no, Sacramento is nothing like SoCal at all. Northern California is just a completely different vibe. than
Yeah,
Southern
I
California.
when I was in college in Wyoming at Wyotech, and yeah, I'm calling that college, fools. It was accredited.
Yeah.
There's an accredited automotive university. I had a homie there, this dude Jeremy. He was older. He's like our age now when I was 23. And this dude was getting, like, he had just got out of the pen. He was doing like home invasion, like snatch and grabs,
Oh,
like kicking
shit.
doors in and like snatching and grabbing and running. But that dude forever had the FBI showing up at school because he was like getting like weed in the mail from California. It was he got this one time they made him open a box up at school and it was just cookies, and they were weed cookies. And I remember he like came back to class and he opened it up. He goes, "You guys want one?" And we all just ate weed cookies and right there. You know what I mean? And we thought we were doing something crazy.
Well,
but-
that's because that's before like edibles were like the big shit. You know?
Right.
Now that's a huge fucking market.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that's how I used to sneak the shit in my house. Was like brownies
That-
and cookies and shit like that.
Yo, sometimes, and if you guys watch the other episodes, you've seen me wear this basketball jersey, and it's from the band Hoods, this hardcore band,
Yeah.
from Sacramento, I
Yeah.
believe. And we went to see that band in Cheyenne at a VFW hall, and there was this young kid with us, and I had this '93 Caprice, and we all piled in my Caprice. There's like 4 or 5 of us.
93 Caprice.
I ate 12 of those cookies, dude. Right? And we were doing like, if you've ever been to Wyoming, like it's almost where you were at for Van Nats. It's just north of you. But there's this stretch of highway between Cheyenne and Laramie, and there's never anything out there. There's like weird shit out there, but there's like usually not cops back then. So like it was like a thing to see like how fast could you get to Cheyenne from Laramie.
Yeah.
So like we'd be doing like as fast as that Caprice would run down the interstate, I was rolling it, pedal down. But we're just chomping these cookies, and we had this young ass, like 19-year-old, young blood greaser kid with us, because that's back when I had my pompadour. And this kid, like, he ate one of those cookies.
I was waxed.
Waxed out, dude. Like puking, thought he was gonna die, and we're all sitting there. I'm like, yo, hey, 12 of these things. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you're crazy, kid. But we saw the hoods. I bought that basketball jersey in Cheyenne or Laramie, Wyoming.
Which I thought about driving there, but I had to come back to
Dude,
work.
I bought that. That'd have been in 2006. I bought that.
Because 05 was when I officially moved to Kansas City.
Okay, so that would have been 2006 is when I would have seen that show. I would have been in school in 2006. So at some point, because we had homies from Springfield, like my sister's homie owned that indoor skate park down there.
Oh, yeah.
Fat dude that skates really well. Can't think of his name. Feel like he's a cross-dresser now or something.
Fat dude that skates really well.
He's like always hefty. He was a hefty guy.
Oh,
but there's an indoor skate park, and he owned it.
I know who you're talking. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
There's also a kid named Scott from Joplin.
Right.
That was a really good skater. He used to do BMO's Barnside.
But like, you know,
the
Justin
Springfield-
Sears.
Yeah.
So back then, when I was like 18, Justin and my sister dated forever.
Okay.
So like, if you were coming up and skating,
Oh, yeah.
and then like Sean Campbell, who was like everybody called him Low Life, who's like a super punk rock dude that was a skateboarder in Lawrence. But like, so I was always around all these like crazy, like to me, these were just fucking idiots at the time, right? Like
Yeah.
these were just like, I was like, you guys are fucking dorks, dude. Like you skate dorks, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I was always around all these
I
people.
got called that a lot.
That like later on, it's like, oh, you guys were like actually like making skate, like you guys were doing some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, fuck, man. This collarbone's been fucked so many times.
Yeah.
I can't even hardly reach my right arm up as high as I can my left arm anymore.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah, like this Springfield skate park project where they built that big indoor. I was all part of the fundraising for that.
Cool.
We had like demos on Campbell Street in the Walmart parking lot. and
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
To raise money. So that was a lot of fun. That was when I moved to Springfield. That was really what I dove into. There used to be a place behind this Walmart called The Ditch. We used to go skate that, and that's how I just met everybody.
Yeah.
Because that was like the most famous skate spot in Springfield.
town. Yeah. What did you just get a job up here, or was it just from coming up here and visiting
No.
while you lived there?
So I was dating this girl named Brandy, and then we ended up getting engaged, and she was from Kansas City.
Okay.
So I moved up here with her. We ended up getting married, and that's how I have my daughter. Is
Okay.
From my first wife.
Right.
So we divorced when my daughter was, I think, three and a half. It's up 3 years old, I think.
Now, were you were in the Midtown area then? Or were
No,
you-
I was in Blue Springs.
Okay, so when you first moved here, you were in the burbs.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I moved into
God,
Blue
Blue
Springs.
Springs was like nothing back then.
Yeah, it
too.
was nothing. Well, that's where her family lived.
Okay.
She was
okay.
born and raised in Blue
Okay.
Springs. So when we got a divorce, I moved to. That's when I was right to Midtown.
Right.
Because I was like, if I'm gonna live in Kansas City, I'm not gonna do it in Blue Springs.
Right.
Like I'm gonna go stay in the city. I was single.
Right.
You know. I worked at a little shitty dive restaurant it's not shitty at all. It's actually really fucking awesome. Frickin' Frag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I worked there. I lived above it forever.
Cool.
And that's where I sold weed because I had 2 security doors to get in the front door.
Yeah.
So nobody could ever get to my apartment.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's when I was living down there. That's when I started meeting all like the Escapist kids. They all
Yeah,
lived down there
Nick
at the
and-
39th Street Casino is
Yeah.
what we called it. So I started running with all those cats, and that's how I met Melanie, my wife.
So that would have been in like 09-ish then.
Yeah, 2010.
Okay. So that's when I would have been.
2010, actually, 2010, 2011.
I
was right
being-
when it
I was on the grind at that time.
Yeah.
That's I had my band. I was working.
Had the only chopper in Kansas City.
Me?
Yeah. I remember seeing it in Westport. And I was like, shit, that's like the bikes.
One of them. There wasn't a lot back
Yeah.
then.
Now they're a dime
There's a couple
dozen.
people that claim, oh, no, there was always choppers, but you had to like venture out to like, cause I was always hanging out with old dudes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So to me, it was just fucking.
Well, just to see it like roaming around and like
Yeah.
Westport all
Oh,
the time.
I was like
and
heavy on the like.
everything.
Yeah, I was
Yeah. And I
heavy
was
in
just
it.
like shit because I mean that's
Nose
what-
in the powder. and,
Yeah.
like beating people up for a living, basically working at the riot room.
Dude, that shit was God. Those were good fucking
God,
times.
did you DJ?
Yeah, I DJ at the Riot Room.
Right,
all the
I
fucking
thought.
time.
Okay, you did.
Yeah.
You used to DJ
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah, I DJ'd
So
all the time.
that's probably really where we met because I also remember always getting invited over to your house because you'd have parties because I feel like you had a skate ramp in your backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right, right,
yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not making all this up in my brain.
Yeah, right off Southwest Traffic Way.
Okay.
Like 35th or 34th and Jefferson.
Right.
Yeah, right there. So
Right.
Yeah, you could see my backyard from Southwest Traffic Way. But yeah, I had a mini ramp back there for God, I don't fucking know how long it was back there. It's up north now.
Now-
Another buddy's house.
Back then, were you still working at the restaurant?
I was for a little while, and then I left the restaurant industry well, not really the industry. I left Frick and Frack, became a bartender at an arcade bar here in town.
Okay.
And so I bartended there for a while, and then it just wasn't my bag. It was too many young kids. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, I just
You had
couldn't-
passed that cuff.
Yeah,
you were
I
in
was
your
just
30s,
it
and
was-
you're like,
I was
this
fucking
is not-
irritated. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
They were irritating. So I left there and went to the beer industry and worked in the craft beer industry for a while. And then I left there and then went back to Wrenchen for a forklift company.
Right.
So I was working on electronics and hydraulics and
Right.
really got back into that at that point to where I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna start doing car shit and building stuff and having fun and you
Now-
know just back to my passion, back to my roots. Because
Right.
when I was in college, I was DJing a little bit, but I worked at a Ford dealership,
Okay.
so I was a Ford mechanic, and I
Now-
worked on 7.3 diesels.
Did you grow up? I mean, obviously in California. Like, did you grow up? Was there somebody in your family that was into like cars?
My dad.
Okay.
I remember one of the first times I remember getting my ass beat by my dad. I got a razor strap. My mom and my brother were somewhere. If I can remember, I was young. But my dad had to run in the parts store. He had a 72 Bronco, baby blue with a white top, had the American Racing rally wheels on
Yeah.
it and everything. So he was building that, working on that. And he's like, hey, I got to go get this part for the truck. Don't get in the Bronco and fuck around. Frank Sotelo, or I think his last name was Sotelo. I remember his name was Frank. He was like, my dad was like, he's going to watch you. I was like, all right. So as soon as my dad backs out of the driveway, takes off, I immediately get in it and I beep the horn and the fucking ground just stayed on. The horn was just until my dad got back. And so he knew immediately right there that I had gotten it. And that's when I got the first, he used to have this razor strap that hung on the wall. And I got the gritty side of the razor strap on a bare ass. So that right there was pretty much the last time I pissed off my dad enough that he wanted to do that. Anytime my dad told me not to do something, I was like, okay.
That didn't
Because-
work for me.
Or just try not to get
coming
caught,
back for
you know?
more.
I mean, I definitely tested my parents as a kid. I was,
Right.
you know,
I mean, I
that's
think
how it
that just
was.
comes with people of our nature. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Still.
But no,
like-
my dad was an aerospace engineer.
Okay.
He worked for a company called Aerojet and designed propulsion systems and shit.
Yeah.
So he was always a wrencher, you know, being an engineer.
Yeah, he would like those guys always like end up working on their own cars.
Yeah,
like,
he
it's like a weird
taught
thing.
me pretty much everything I knew.
Yeah.
About working on cars and what to do. Then I got into Volkswagens and shit because cheap.
Yeah.
Back then they were fucking cheap. I mean, you could buy
Right.
a Volkswagen for $500 that ran. And
That's how I got into Hondas originally, is because they were like the Volkswagens of my generation.
Yeah.
Because they were like, I bought cars for $500.
Well, and being in California and stuff, you know, you can buy a Volkswagen out there and it's still worth a shit. You buy
Yeah.
them here in the Midwest, they're trash, rotted out, done. So
Yeah,
But-
I don't feel like air-cooled engines and high humidity
they don't
do
work
well together.
Yeah,
no.
they don't at all. But yeah, that's what got me into cars. Dad had a bunch of biker friends that would stop by and rode old fucking Triumph and Yamahas and shit like that, like the traditional
Like old
choppers.
engineers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well-
guys that are probably like, yeah.
Well, but they, you know, because a lot of people think that, you know, Harley Davidsons were the choppers. Well, they fuck no, man.
No,
Harley
just
Davidsons.
like whatever,
Yeah.
really. Like it was everything.
Yeah, it's, I
Like
mean,
if you open up a '70s like Street Chopper magazine, there's more Japanese bikes in there than
Well, they
anything
ran.
else. Yeah.
you didn't have to work on them every
Yeah.
300 miles, you know, and then Harleys became a big thing because, you know, they started doing their engineering a lot better. But then people are building old Harleys now, making them choppers, and they realize, shit, man, this thing runs for 300 miles, and I got to put more work into it. But if that's what you love to do,
Yeah.
fucking do it up,
And
man.
do it up.
you know?
Yeah.
It's just not my bag anymore. I'm not like, I like bikes. I just lost too many buddies on bikes.
Yeah.
So I'm like taking a break from all that shit.
Yeah, because you had a Ironhead
Yeah, it is 78 Ironhead
for a hot, like a minute.
for like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But that was Kickstart only, so that was
And then you sold that to Clint. Clint
Yeah.
had that.
yeah.
And then you had a regular Sportster.
Yeah, I had a 1200 XL 1200 custom.
And have you gotten rid of it?
Yeah, I sold it.
Okay.
Sold it down to a guy in Oklahoma City. I posted it and he called me messaged me within 2 minutes. He's like, "Save it for me. I'll drive up right now." Because I mean,
Sick.
it was purple. It was just a rare color for him and everything.
Yeah.
So I got it from my buddy Luke. He rides. He still rides. He buys bikes all the time and just rips them. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
then-
that's
But in that time, you had got your first van, right?
yeah. Well, so I grew up. My dad had I can't remember. It was either 84, 85, or 86. I can't really remember what year he got it, but it was a Chevy Landmark.
Okay.
So it was a Chevy Landmark, like G20 conversion van. So it was
Alright.
fucking cool. That's how I took every vacation as a kid. We would load up in that, go camping. We went to Yellowstone in that, all the national parks, Yosemite, and we would camp, and that's what we did with the van. So I got into vans like that, you know, as a kid, just because it was fun. It was, you know, it was how we could all travel and not get on an airplane or, you know, whatnot. So then once I finally got on my feet after divorce and everything, I was like, you know what, I want another van. So that's when I got that van. And I got that van
The Ford.
before yeah, the Ford.
Because you
My-
got that from, that was Marty, that was the Hyborian van. That was Marty
Yeah.
Bush.
Yeah,
Cowboy Marty Bush. Shout out, Marty.
Yeah, Marty Bush.
He's watching.
I put a fuck ton of time in that van, a fuck ton of money in that van.
I know, you paid me. I polished that thing out like a son of a gun.
Yeah, and that thing.
We got it looking pretty good.
That's when I was taking. That's right before I took it to the 48 Nats.
Yeah, you went.
Yeah.
So Ryan has gone now to 2 Van Nationals, and for anybody out there that doesn't know what that is, since like 19, whatever,
70,
75,
73.
76, 73.
Yeah.
They've
Or so, sorry,
been-
74.
There's like this weird coalition of all these different van clubs who through the decades have had these. They have like a delegate that goes to these meetings that are somewhere around the country, and they decide where they're going to have the Van Nationals, which is like a giant truck in. And this year, I think they opened it up to the public for the
No.
show.
No,
I thought the show they opened it up.
they still haven't opened it up to the public. They're talking about the 51st, which is going to be in Massachusetts. So I'll be at that.
Oh,
one.
I thought this year they opened just on Saturday from like this time to this time. You could come as a
They didn't
public.
let-
So you have the only way you can get into this event is to show up in a van. You have to be in a van is the only way you can go.
Yeah.
And then beyond what happens after that, I have no idea because I've never gone. I know Ryan came back very disheveled after a week in Colorado.
And they held it, and the Van Nats this year was wild, man. One, it's a fucking party.
Right.
I mean,
No, yeah, it's a party.
It starts on Monday. You can get there early Monday. They open the gates, usually all of them 2 days early. You have to pay a little extra to stay, but you get like primo parking and all that kind
Right.
of stuff. And you can get your buddies. You know,
Right.
like I had some friends from Texas come. I had a buddy from Denver come out. I had a buddy from Omaha. Actually, the guy that I sold the third gen Econoline, he actually came down. He put a whole new motor in it with a big.
No, I
fan.
remember that. Like, you sent me that photo, and I was like, oh, and I didn't know that you knew who bought it, right?
Yeah. I
So,
told
like, I was just like, oh, look at the randomness. Like, it parked right next to you. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
how
I waved
crazy that your old van just parked right next to you.
Yeah. I waved him in, and and his buddy was in. He's like, "Hey, do you know that fucking crazy person waving at us right now?" Because they're heading down the main strip because they always had like a main drag where
Yeah.
everybody can cruise and shit. And he was like, he took his sunglasses off. He goes, "That's the guy I bought the van from." So
Yeah.
he just parked right next to me. We
That's
fucking
awesome.
we raged the whole week.
Dude,
It was
so
fun.
many of my people I know were there. Like, Jason went.
Yeah.
My buddy Nate from up in Minnesota was there. That's Vinyl Lux Upholstery.
Okay.
That's who made my slumber boot that I have for my G10, that like wraparound window deal.
See, I want to get one of those for the Astro, but
Yeah.
they were like, "What one?" So building this Astro now, a lot of people are like, "Wow, you put side pipes on an Astro?" I was like, "Yeah, it looks fucking cool," you know. So like, a lot of people will judge you for what you do on your vehicle.
Like,
but the
at
Vanners,
the Nats or like
No.
just in oh yeah, just in
general.
general, yeah.
But at the Nats, no. I mean, I have so many people are just like, "Dude, that's seriously fucking rad." You know, it's just different.
Yeah, it's different. But
different.
when I saw it, I was like, oh, that actually looks cool as fuck on there.
Yeah.
Like,
Make it
your
look like-
wheels look great that you got. Like, your van looks great. Let's wrap up on the Nats. So the Nats happens every year. The one you went to the 48th, which was that the one in Minnesota?
That was in Albert Lee, Minnesota.
Right. So that was the one Nate was in charge of
Okay,
that
cool.
year. And then this year was like up in the northeast corner of Colorado. But next year, my friend,
Massachusetts.
and I'm going next year.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Because I was going to go to Minnesota.
well, it's an hour outside of Boston or something like that too. So it's like a
Right.
quick jog to Boston for a day.
I was going to go to Minnesota, and that's when I had my heart attack, working on my van.
Oh yeah.
Because my van still had the small block in it, and it was still drivable. I just needed to put the new front clip on.
Yeah.
So I was working on my van, had that heart attack. There went the dreams of like going to the Nats that year.
Yeah.
And then I really ain't touched the Chevy since then. It's been kind of like I don't know if I'm scared of it subconsciously or what
Yeah.
the deal is. But I'm going to get the Chevy to work soon, and I'm going to start getting it back together because I have that LS motor to put in there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it here and now. I am going to Massachusetts next year.
Which is gonna be fun because I drove from Kansas City to the 50th by myself.
Right.
There's just not. I mean, there's a club here in town. They're nice people.
Which one?
Yeah, I just.
Which club?
Vantasia.
Vantasia.
Yeah,
Mr.
Vantasia.
Don Noon.
Yeah, Don Noon. They're great people. I get
AKA,
along.
hit me up. I'll tell you about Vanna.
Yeah, and I like those guys a lot. I'm just more of
And there's 3 Trail Vanners.
and 3 Trails. Yeah, I forgot 3 Trails.
3 Trails.
They went up early. Otherwise, like when I went to the 48s, I caravaned with all them.
We may have a
So-
secret organization.
Ooh, I am. And which I
You're
should be getting-
technically a member of a van club, right? Are you still a member of that van club?
Which the No Club Club?
No, I thought you were a member of that club from Texas. That all the dudes.
Ooh,
were in.
Let's Boogie. Yeah. That's disbanded. Yeah. So that really.
Oh,
irked.
it disbanded.
Yeah, it's the president of it. He sold his van and bought a Chevy Love truck, and so there's just nobody in Let's Boogie anymore.
Okay.
But that irked some people out of a club here in town. They're just like, "You joined a club in Texas?" I was like, "Yeah, man, they're more my people than you guys are."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I went down there and met with all those guys. Super
I have
fucking chill.
I might have a opportunity for you. Me and a few people might have a secret organization.
Well, so I was made stickers, and I wanted them to get here before the 50th Nationals that just says no club.
Yeah.
So that way people like, because
This isn't-
in the
this
van
isn't
world they
a-
call them independents. I'm
not-
like, that's a club.
It's not so much a club as it's like a collective.
Yeah. So it's well, what I was telling people is I was like, you know, if I give you one of these stickers, don't fucking call me. Don't ask me if we're having a meeting or if we're getting shirts made.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking doing any of that. No, you're part of the No Club Club, which is mean no dues, no meetings.
Yeah.
And don't call me unless you're needing a part for your van. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but that's so yeah. That's I don't really roll with clubs, man. I like them. I like some of the people in them, like Three Trails. I know I'm gonna
Yeah.
go over to one of their parties, go kick it with all those guys.
Yeah.
But you know they have meetings. I was like, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
Yeah, me, Jason, Jay, and then like, there's like, it's more than just vans. It's like different. It's called the Technicolor Nights, but there's like more than like, there's also people. There's some other people involved, but it's like, these guys got gassers.
Yeah.
We're the 2% of the Technicolor Nights.
They're-
This
yeah.
is like the gasser division. Like
Yeah.
this is a hot rod sector. You know what I
And see
mean?
that would be cool to be part of a car club.
Yeah.
Would be cool, but again.
But that's why I say it's more of what we're trying to do is like it's a collective, not a club.
yeah.
Because it's not like Technicolor Nights car club. It's just
Yeah,
Technicolor
and
Nights.
that's the thing. It's like that would be cool to go cruise. You guys can meet up, have fun, cruise.
That's it.
That's
Hey,
it.
we're gonna have a meeting, but it ain't like we're gonna go meet up. We're gonna go like Saturday night. We're meeting at Jay's house, and we're all gonna go up to Nolan Road to hit the Nolan Road cruise night.
Yeah, and see,
Because
like,
Jason's driving up here from down south.
and which is that's dope. I would be
Yeah.
I'd be super down with doing that.
Yeah.
I'm all into that. And it's cool that we live right around the corner from each other.
Yeah, Ryan's actually. I live a block and a half from Ryan now, which is awesome. Because like sometimes what I like to do is just show Ryan how cool my van is and drive past his house and not stop. And then he calls me and goes, "What the hell,
Yeah,
man?
yeah.
You don't even
I
stop."
saw you creeping, bro.
I saw you creeping by.
Yeah,
Then
but-
I do stop and we piss off the other neighbors
yeah.
because they're like, "Why are you guys just in the middle of the street,
Because we're talking.
just hanging out?"
We're in the
That's what we do.
neighborhood, man. We're in the hood. I
But,
don't even know what you call this hood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't even the hood, dude.
Yeah.
Where compared to like the location of the original Black Magic Mansion was in the straight gutter ghetto, in the worst neighborhood of downtown KCK, where I had like battling crackhead factions in like two different abandoned houses. They were burning shit down. They were murdering each other. There was like cartel houses right on the block. There was like constant gunfire every night where it like it felt like the gunshots kept getting closer and closer, which made me feel like I was around like there must be a major player on the street. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I know enough about the street life to know like, yo, the house where the dude doesn't ever drive a car and people are always coming and going from his house who
That's the
isn't
dude.
like who isn't necessarily Hispanic, who's like
Yeah.
but is with a Hispanic lady, but then also has like giant parties with like a mechanical like in a tiny ass house. He's throwing giant barbecues with like 100 people, and they're all Santa Muerte chains, cartel cowboy suits, like.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, something's not right about
Yeah.
this, man.
Something's off.
This ain't adding up, dog. Like, let me get out of here. And that over there, Rory lived right next door to me
Okay, right on.
from the Easy Inn.
Yeah.
Cameron, who's also been on the show before. What drew you to the Vans?
Just growing up in one.
Just growing up in
Yeah, I've always thought they're fucking cool. They're fun, they're different, and you can go anywhere, you can stop, like when you're done driving, like driving out to Colorado, if I wanted to stop and take a fucking nap, pull over to the rest area, take a nap. You know what I mean? If I want to drive for 5 hours and stop somewhere, you can, because it's a house on wheels, man. If you
Yeah.
make it that way, you know, that, and I mean, you can just trick them out, dude. There's
Yeah.
just so much you can do to one. It's a massive canvas, rather than it being like, you know, an old Camaro or whatnot.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's black, red, silver. That's pretty much, you know, that.
There's only so much you can do with a car.
But these are canvases. Like, the interiors are massive, so there's just so much stuff you can pile into it, and knickknacks and fun.
Well, also
fun
you
shit.
can do it different ways, right? You can build a long wheel with a bed and all the amenities. You can build one that's made to live in. You can do like what I'm doing, which is like a quasi muscle van.
Yeah.
You can. There's so like every style of car can be done as a van.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you can chop the top.
You can chop the top.
Yeah,
You can paint a mural. You can
suicide
You can
doors.
paint it one
Yeah,
color.
yeah.
You can literally do. You can gold wing it. You
Yeah,
can
you can do
spoilers and exhaust and all the things. And it's like same thing. I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like it's the closest thing to a chopper in car form.
Yeah, because you can build it however you want.
They're mostly unibody.
Mm-hmm.
So all you need is a motor, a transmission, and you just need a drivetrain, and you're moving.
Yeah.
The rest of it is whatever you want it to be,
Yep.
as much or as little.
And you can do like some of the shit that I saw at the 50th, dude. Jesus, man. Like turbo or supercharged with nitrous.
Oh yeah,
Man.
I've seen some of the
And I was
stuff.
just like, what?
There's like a dude that these like two weird like carburetors sticking out of the hood, and I was like, what is that thing even?
Oh, there's a guy with one that all crushed velvet interior, beautiful, paint job, beautiful. He's had the van for 40 years, and it's a fucking blown supercharged with nitrous.
Yeah.
And you can just barely get on it, and the front wheels are coming off the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, and that's, by the way, anybody that has a 327.
Oh yeah, Ryan's on the hunt. He's got this Safari, and this guy
Astro.
doesn't want to. Yeah, well, I call them Safaris, baby, because that's what I roll. I'm sophisticated. I have a GMC. But Ryan's trying to put a 327 in his Astro.
It's got
when
torque.
We could just put a 5.3 liter fuel injected in it. But we'll put that 327 in there.
I think it would just be it would be again unique. That's what you can do with
weird.
vans. You can make it completely.
Well, and nowadays you can put a Holley basic. They call them fuel injected. It's just throttle body injection basically, but they're a little more sophisticated than what we had in like the
they
90s.
auto tune.
Yes,
You know,
so
which
you
is
can put
rad.
one of those systems on there. But yeah, that's just it. It's just a way to make it your own and do it
Oh,
differently.
yeah, I want to put a big cam 327 in it because I mean just the sheer torque on that. Because I already have a Posi-Track rear end in it.
Yeah.
So with that sheer torque, it's just I'll get those. front
My
wheels
main
off the ground.
concern right now is like ghetto rigging my R12 to R134 and with a
In the
bunch of
AC.
stop leaks so I can just have air conditioning in a car again. Because I ain't had air. Even when I had my 01 Econoline, like the air sucked in it. Man.
Well, I mean, you helped me. We charged mine.
Yeah.
At one point, I had air for 45 minutes. It was the
Yeah.
greatest 45 minutes that I've
You
had.
should have bought that stop leak.
Yeah, but that's, you know, I want to tear into the AC system, but I don't know why I would do it now and then have to tear it all the fuck back out to put the motor in. So I'm gonna try to have the motor done this winter. I want to have it in so that
Well,
way.
my buddy Brian Rivard, he's got Accurate Performance, and he has a full blown machine shop there now. He
Okay.
bought a machine shop out of the Northland, so they're building motors.
And I'm probably gonna put a 5.3 in it. Because
Yeah.
this is gonna be cheaper and easier. But god
Yeah.
damn it, I want a 3. And again, I want a 327. And if it happens to be a 4-bolt main,
Yeah,
even better.
I don't
man.
transcribe to that bolted main bullshit. 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 4 bolt, 5 bolt. It still works just the same. I
Yeah.
never understood any of that stuff.
I don't understand it, but I know they're rare.
Someone will not comment on this because there'll be some old guy in there, and they'll comment. They'll be like, "Well, actually, Tyler,
Yeah.
studies shown." Yeah, well, I don't think Hot Rod Magazine in '76 counts as studies.
Yeah.
I don't think that's scientific proof of anything.
But no, I mean, I don't. I just know I want to at least put a V8 on it.
Right.
It's just gonna be. I mean, the 4.3. Don't get me wrong, is a fucking workhorse, but it's a V6.
Right.
I mean, and I want more. And that's the one thing is like I'm never satisfied. Like I don't think I've ever completed a project. I get close, but then I'm like, ooh, fuck, I can do this.
Yeah.
Ooh, fuck, I can do this, or I can do this, or I can change. Now that the interior is cool, okay, let's do motor work. Oh, the motor's cool. Well, now let's rip out the interior, do something different with that, and then fucking wreck the motor. Okay, let's do more motor work. So I don't think I've ever had, per se, a 100% completed show vehicle. You know what I mean? I don't, pretty vans show, shitty vans go.
Yeah.
So mine's always going to be something that's going to be worked on. And of course, every year it's going to get nicer, but it's never going to be so nice that I'm going to trailer it somewhere.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that. Like everything I do, I'm driving. Like I build, and that was why I got the Dodge. Like I made like a crazy deal to get that. I traded my Econoline for it, basically.
Oh, right.
The work van.
Yeah,
I
the
had,
work van.
van.
Yeah.
But the work van was tight. It had a spoiler. It had a visor. It had a little bubble in it.
Yeah.
Like it was cool. It had some custom front seats. But it was a 250. It was great for hauling shit around and like all that. But it was also like, man.
And that's another thing about vans too, or the vanning community or whatnot. Nobody's wrong on what they do to their automobile.
No, yeah.
And another thing with that too is there are brand new vans that drive to those things.
Yeah.
And those people live out of them, and that's what they buy. They've always had vans, but then you have trailer queens, like.
Yeah.
So the one that beat me, and so I did the show and shine at the 50th.
Right.
One that beat me, and no disrespect to this guy, but he bought it. He bought it from happened to be his buddies that built it that passed away. His wife had it. She ended up passing away. So his daughter got it and didn't want it.
Yeah.
And he bought a show van for $5,000 and then trailered it to the
Van Nationals.
to the Nationals and scored more points than I did.
Yo, I'm showing up, whatever shape, having driven from here to Massachusetts. I ain't wiping it down. I ain't cleaning nothing.
I cleaned the bugs off my windshield about 6 times, so I just could see through the windshield.
Right. I'm rolling to the show and shine. I'm showing.
Yeah.
I don't know how much shining I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah.
But
And that's one thing. Like my buddy's from Texas. My buddy Rob from Austin. Fucking amazing person. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. He has a GMC Vandura. Mm-hmm. I think it's a Tiara.
yeah,
Is what
Tiara
it is.
edition.
Yeah, it's fucking really cool.
That's for the upper crust of society.
Yeah. So it's lifted. It's only 2-wheel drive, but it's lifted. Really fucking cool. Has this big fucking bug guard on the front of it, and he never washed it from Austin all the way up to Colorado. So it was like that shit was thick. And then this guy from Minnesota was there. No, sorry, Wisconsin. He was there. We're like, man, we're thinking about at the show and shine putting up $100 for whoever to take their tongue and do one side of the bug shield from one side to the other. And he goes, $100? Didn't even fucking think about it, did it? He had a fucking tongue ring. Dude,
Just collecting bugs.
the wad of bugs was the size of a fucking racquetball that was on his fucking tongue. I immediately vomited. I couldn't believe he didn't even fucking hesitate.
You see what I'm saying, people? This is why when people go, why don't you do the van nats? This is what keeps me away. I want to see this.
Dude, see, that's why I want to go, because I want to see people do stupid shit. Because I'll tell you, the Van Nationals, one, you get to see some pretty fucking cool work. Nobody shits the exact same. You just put a lot of heart and soul, but then you also just get to meet characters.
Well,
You
dude,
know,
it's not.
people
And
watching.
Jason even hit me up. He was like, "Dude, so many people have asked when you're getting here," and
Yeah.
he's like, "I've had to tell all of them like you're not coming."
Yeah.
And it's like, cause I've really tried to like venture out online and like put myself into the community fully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause I've been a van dude forever. Like
Yeah.
I've had a 68 Chevy. I had that green 65 that I got from Davey. I had another Dodge I had gotten from Davey. Like Davey gets vans and then somehow I end up with them in the long run.
Well, and so your van started out with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
My van, Lochnar started with Zach Lovely.
Yeah.
Zach got that van in Texas when he was on vacation, going fishing, visiting his family.
Yep.
He brought that van back, kind of fucking drove it, not really. I think it was semi fucked up, and Zach was just like, but he bought it cheap enough that Dan annoyed him enough that he sold it to Dan, to Gnarly Dan.
Yeah.
And then Dan had it, and then over time, it like got worked on by some people. It wasn't the best work. Things got fucked up. They didn't know what was going on. Dan drove it some, and then he sold it to Davey.
Yeah.
And then Davey had it, and then same thing. Had some jabronis working on it. I don't know. And then through some trading, he traded it to Mark Shapiro. And it's been sitting in front of him. It was
Just-
in Mark's shop forever. And then when that room ran out, it was sitting out front. And since it's been out front, I was hassling him. And then one day, every so often, I hit up Davey, and we were talking one day, and I talked to Mark, and Mark was like, "That's Davey's van. Davey wants that van." And I was like, "Okay, Mark, never mind." And then I talked to Davey, and I'm like, "Dude," when I was interviewing Davey, like, I was at Davey's house. We did an interview, and we're talking. I'm like, "Dude, I gotta have." I was just like, "Yo, dude, the van needs me, and I need it. Like
Well,
that van needs me to like
needed
make it
somebody
something."
that was gonna take care of it,
Right.
Because it was just sitting there getting rain,
It's
snowed
just
on.
getting wasted, and there was a couple of people that were gonna buy it, and they always backed out.
I went and looked at it, but then I like when I looked at it after I sold my Econoline, I went and I was just like, dude, I don't have a garage. I don't have
Right.
enough tools. I don't have the knowledge to buy. I'm not a body man. I've just
Yeah.
never been a painter.
It
or a
had
body
the
guy.
messed up fender on it. It had old damage from the 70s that had gotten fixed. And back in the day, it didn't look horrible. Now it was like to the point where it was like, God damn, this is
Yeah, it's
You know,
looking
like-
pretty rough.
But I told Davey, I was like, dude, I gotta have that van. And he was like, yo, dude. He's like, well, buy it. I was like, I don't have any cash. Like, I'd have to sell my Econoline. So I cleaned my Econoline up. He's like, I'll tell Mark to sell it to you because I don't need it. I know you want it. Like,
Yeah.
and so then through that, it became a thing where it was like, yo, Mark, I'll just trade you my Econoline for it. And so then Mark and I worked out a deal, and I traded my Econoline for that. And I dropped my Econoline off, got inside that Dodge van, and drove it on 4 cylinders all the way over to my day job. And it was there, and then that's eventually, over time, I got the fenders. Like, Jason got me the fenders. He found me the fenders down there at his boss's junkyard. Then I ventured off into one day, there's no compression, and I was all bummed because I was trying to go to that punk rod spring thing. And it was like, oh, there's 2 bent push rods. So I just kind of like bent the push rods back straight one day in the vise and like put them back in. They're still in there, knock on wood. Still running.
Still going.
But I
it
just
sounds
love it,
good.
dude.
It sounds good.
Yeah,
as fuck.
it's not bad. I'm going to doink with the timing tomorrow, I think, to try to really make it run, just to check it out. It needs a new carburetor. I feel like it had a electronic choke on it at some point, and then someone took that off because it wasn't working.
More than likely.
And by someone, I mean Mark Shapiro and Dave.
Yeah.
It might have been off before then.
Did you get the seats with it?
The gold one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking sick. Those are cool, man.
They were cool, but
Yeah.
I already sold them.
Oh, you already got rid of them?
Well, do you know John Tennell? Johnny Conflicts?
Yeah.
Johnny's got that gasser.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I had gotten these side pipes off a Corvette, and they were a little more modern. They were cool, but I wasn't like, at that time I was like, I don't fucking side pipes. I got a inline 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
That was before I had this wild idea that I need to put a V8 in the van. So I was like, Johnny, do you want these side pipes? And he was like, yeah. And I got them for free. So I just gave him the side pipes because they're for his gasser, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, I know you were talking about wanting seats. And he was asking about those. I was like, yo, technically that steering wheel is going to go in his gasser too. Moon Eyes they've never restocked the octagon, the hexagon, the pentagon wheels or whatever. But he bought the seats from me for his gasser. So we're going to put those in his gasser.
Well, see, these are going, like, and that's another thing I think with, like, all of our kind of community.
Yeah.
Well, here, you need these for yours. Well, what do you got for this? And, like, we trade around parts and stuff.
Oh yeah, when I needed mirrors, old man Eric showed up. He had these, like, we found these mirrors, then we found a chrome set of them, and then we went and put them on, and they looked badass, dude. They were like Mustang. They're some like 74 Mustang or some Ford. We don't know what it was off of, LTD, Gran Torino, but they were like the most 70s looking mirrors, and it was like where they normally mount like this, and they'd be like oval. It was like, oh, let's mount them sideways. And then they look like spaceship
make
mirrors.
them different.
But then when we put them on there, you couldn't see a fucking thing. So I was like, no, I'm just going to go buy these West Coast mirrors.
Which I mean, I would fucking love to do that to the Astro. That's one thing that...
We could get those same mirrors I got, dog. Those were 30. Those mirrors I bought for the Lochnar were $30 a piece from Classic Parts. Meanwhile, people talking about, I got these West Coast mirrors, $200. They're the same mirror.
Yeah.
It's the same mirror.
Yeah, same thing. And they're metal. It's not plastic repop.
No, they're metal. They're all metal.
But I do like... I think the flow of an Astro, though, the way the roof goes down to the hood, to the nose, those big fucking elephant ear mirrors look good on it.
Yeah.
You know what
They
I mean?
also make some cool, like, sleek, like, S10 mirrors, because the S10 mirror will bolt on there, I think, or like a Chevy truck mirror. So there are some cool, like, 90s, like, aftermarket, like, J.C. Whitney parts that you could find for them. There's so many cool parts for those Safaris and Astros.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna be fun is like, and you can still find them. I want to get I mean, I'll buy another older van, but it's just gonna take a lot of time for me to put it together.
Yeah.
I want one that I can drive now, and that's why I went for an Astro rather than going for a 70s, is because I don't have a garage. I have all the tools. I have the knowledge to fix them. Work on the motor, transmission, and everything, but body work and stuff, I'm just no good at that.
Dude, that's why I got 3 vans. I got 3 cars, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're all vans.
And and I have I've got the gold standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got the 70, the 76. I got the Bicentennial. Fucking Chevy Shorty with the cargo door, sitting on Supremes.
What's the Supremes? That's fucking sick.
The Supremes are going though.
I did.
I've already been over this on the last episode. Yeah. There can be only one. Wheels are like the Highlander to me, and there is only one.
Yeah.
And it's the slotted Mac.
I mean, which is
I got 10 sitting right out there that Mylan gave me.
10s?
10-inch wide.
Oh, 10-inch wide for the SN?
Yeah, for the Chevy. 10-inch wide slotted mags for the Chevy.
Nice.
And I got a set of these, like, old super stock Prowlers from, like, 1971 that were...
I will say... is it a bug?
I don't know if it's a bug or if it's just this lamp that I got making noise. That's weird.
No, that's one thing, too. Up there was a few guys that brought parts. The 48, there was tons of parts, tons of people slinging parts.
Yeah.
Hard to find shit, you know what I mean? So I think next year, when I go to the 51st, I'm just gonna go start picking this winter and finding, because
oh, I'm down, baby.
Dude, just taking a U-Haul full of old shit, like second gen Ford. Find any steering linkage, any of, control arm, any of that front end shit, bro, you can't find it.
Yeah.
People are like, my van's down and it's down until I find this.
Yeah.
You know, there's
You
like
know,
one
like
or two people that can find it.
the
You know?
bells for the door, interior door handle that opens the door
Yeah.
for like the Chevys, like the 70s, they don't make those.
Oh, the little silver
No, like the part that goes inside the door that the handle goes onto.
Oh, that
That the
clips it.
handle goes
Yeah.
onto, the nub that sticks out,
Yeah.
that mechanism, those springs will break. And they don't make that part new. No one repops that. So, like, I'm going to start going around and just buying weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I already, like, we had a customer at the shop that I work at, and, like, they were like, oh, he had a 74. He's like, can you fix his cargo door? And I was like, cargo door is fucked. I was like, it needs all new hinges. Dude, and just by chance, like one of my picking spots, like one of my U picket places,
Yeah.
they had a 95. Like I just wanted to like buy the whole van. It's a 95 shorty cargo door.
It's not barn doors, which is hard to find a shorty in the 90s that's a slider.
Right.
You know?
With a V8 in it, not a V6.
So is it a C20 then?
It was
95.
a G10.
That's damn, that's rare.
I think it must have been something somebody ordered as like a work van.
Yeah,
Because it
'cause
had
then
some
it
like
would-
work van shit on it.
A G10
But it was
would
like-
only had a V6 in it, right?
Right.
And a 95.
I think so.
Yeah.
But it was like super nice still. And I was like, why is this here? And it's one of those things like, why can't I just tell me the whole van?
Yeah.
But dude, I took all the components off the cargo door.
Now we can weld all that shit up and fix it all, right?
No, it all bolted on. I had to add one hole, like one bolt, because they changed the design on the arm part.
Okay, yeah.
Because it had an extended arm because he had some wide tires on it. I had to do some other mods to the door shit, but like it fixed it all. Because it went from like the back of the door being so sloppy to the old part where the arm went into the door hinge at the top of the back of the cargo. It was just worn out. But like I swapped all that out, creamy. Then he needed the doorbell. Like he had like a latch to put in, so I put the new latch in. I'm like, well, it ain't the latch, it's the doorbell part. And they're like, can you get one of those? And I was like, you bet your ass. I can. And I got that from another place.
Well,
And I just walked into this place because I was like, they always got a conversion van.
I mean, that's what I'm like, getting the grills, just all the headlight bezels.
There's
Just
a grill
all-
right now.
all
for
sorts of shit like that.
300
People
from
are-
a guy, and it's just like,
People want it.
come down a little more, man.
Yeah, people want to buy that shit.
Yeah.
And there was people walking around. They're like, hey, do you know anybody that's got these parts for sale? I was like, nope, sure don't. So there's enough
If you're
inquiry.
watching this and you need a new old stock Venturi vent, I got one left.
Yeah, ooh,
One more Venturi.
maybe. If
But
I rip the AC out,
I
in my
need
van-
to. I need to sell that. If I sell this, if I can get this last Venturi sold, because like the other Venturis that I sold, because I had 4 of them, I used one, sold 2. I ended up having to use that money for like normal living stuff. But if I can sell this last one, I'm buying a window from Rose from Queen of the Van.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
getting that. I need one of those 5-star windows.
the bubble.
The bubble one,
Yeah.
the Chrysler sign one.
Yeah.
The van needs that. It
Yeah.
has. There's not. It's not a want. It's a need at this point. Like,
And that's, dude, there was some, what is her name? It's something Wonder. She makes stained glass.
I seen that lady.
Taillight
I can't
covers.
think of her name.
I think it's like
I follow
Kimberly
her on Instagram.
Wonder or something like that. God, that sucks because I'd love to give her a shout out. Fucking makes,
I'll put it in the. I'll put the Instagram in the description.
Yeah, cool. Because she makes some super duper cool stained glass
Yeah.
stuff for anything that like Chevy, Ford, Dodge, and anything you want, she'll make you custom as long as she can get the specs of it.
Yeah.
She'll make it for you custom. And
I've seen that.
They're not cheap because it's real glass.
Yeah.
Like she had one that was for Dodge, and if they weren't $700 for 2 lenses, but they had fucking cannabis leaf.
I seen
and
those
so
on
you
her
and it
Instagram. Yeah.
lit up, and I was just like, that's
Dude.
really fucking tight.
It's crazy. Like the van thing is like, it's hot, but it's just like anything. It's like it'll come back down.
It will.
Like eventually, it's gonna
And
come
it's
back
like
down.
the Nationals. That's not a hot thing for all people that like
Have
vans.
vans. No.
This is like it's a very, very
It's a
specific
very
group
specific
of
group
people.
of people,
Yeah.
right?
So
And it's just like that thing is like, for me, I want to go experience it because I know so many people that are there.
You'll have
But
a
I also
blast.
want to take this with me, right? And I
Yeah.
want to talk to everyone. But I just want to go. But also, like, specifically to go to the Boston, the Massachusetts
Yeah.
one. I've never been to somebody earlier today, I was talking to this guy at this body shop that I stopped at after work. He's like, oh, you're going on that 13 colonies trip. And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I've never been to Washington, D.C. So, like, I got to get a picture wearing, like, an InfoWars shirt in the White House. This is the joke, right? Like, in front of the White House in an InfoWars shirt. You got to do that. But I'd like to even if I just drive through, right?
And that's kinda what I wanna do. I
I'd
just
like
wanna
to
go
see
cruise.
Washington. I'd like to go through Philadelphia and maybe Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'd like to see New York City. It's like, again, even if I don't stop, like, I'm probably going to hate New York because there's, like, so many people there, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'd be afraid that my van's going to get stolen. But, like, I got to go to Coney Island, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched the Warriors.
Well, and that's
Like,
why
I would have never been a criminal if it wasn't for the Warriors. Like,
And
I got to get that Warriors photo.
I think I'm
you
going
know?
to vend at the Boston one or the Massachusetts one, the 51st. But I think my wife actually might go.
That'd be cool.
That is going to be out of her comfort room, zone and like realm.
Right.
But again, I know she'll have a blast because we're not just going to go to that. We're going to cruise through country that she's never seen.
Right.
You know, every time we go somewhere or been on road trips, we drive west.
Right.
Because that's where all my homies are at.
Right.
That's where I, grew up at. So going East Coast and driving rather than flying is going to be a whole new experience for me too.
Right. Yeah.
I've never just gone on road trips over there.
I've been everywhere from, mostly like from Kansas, Nebraska. I haven't been to there's like a few northern states, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Wisconsin. I've been everywhere else, right around us. Over to the entire West Coast. I've been through every state at some point. Texas, almost all of the South. But I've never
gotten Northeast.
I want to see
I've driven Southeast.
but also that's the oldest part of America. But dude, I mean, for a guy whose last name is McDowell, I gotta see Boston. Right?
Yeah,
I gotta go to Boston.
It's not just that too. It's so densely populated over there. When you go over there or go to the Northeast, it's not like you're driving in Kansas or Texas. Like my buddies that drove from Texas, one lives, south of Austin. He's like, to get out of Texas took me 10 and a half hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's like 10 and a half hours of driving in your own state.
But that's for us. That's what it's like for us to drive across Kansas.
It's 7 hours.
Yeah. Or otherwise, you're going to Nebraska and then doing the same thing.
Yeah, and then you drive through Nebraska.
Yeah.
So the reason why I really want to go is, one, you're going to hit city after city after city. There's places to go every about 6 hours on a drive.
Yeah, you can go to Ohio.
Yeah, you can just cruise through
yeah.
and just roll and have a good time.
Yeah.
And there's places to stop, things to see. It's
Yeah.
just littered with awesome shit to do.
Yeah.
There's just it's just gonna be fun. I can't wait to go. It's gonna be a fucking blast having you go too, because we'll creep our way up there.
Dude, we'll make Jason go. We'll get everybody, and then anybody that's coming westbound, you can just meet up. You know what I mean? Stop it. Also, hey man, if you're driving through Kansas City, feel free, holler at me. Everyone is welcome on the show. And I even kept telling you guys that, even Jason. I was trying to get Jason to come by, Maddox, because me and Jason, Tom has the orange van, the Doom Rider. I think that's what he calls it. Jason and I have been friends for a long time. He used to come to Greaserama when I was in the punk rods, and he only did pinstriping and stuff then. And I've known him forever. And it's like, yo, come through town. And then
that's
there's
one
like
thing that I
another
was-
guy that's like, it's like, hey, tell that guy to come through Kansas City and stop and be on my show.
I shot him an email and he said he didn't stop. He said
Yeah.
he drove to St. Louis. And I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, that was a
St.
heavy.
Louis.
That was a yeah, boo.
That's what I think about St. Louis. You heard me, Metal Flockades. There's a car club there that I know.
Yeah.
Metal Flakes.
I don't do St. Louis. I've been to St. Louis enough. But yeah, I can't wait to fucking go straight north, and then I'm gonna hit east to go to Mass, so that way I can hit all those northern
Yeah, no,
cities.
that's what I want to do,
And
man.
it's just gonna be cool. I don't want to drive through I don't want to drive through Kentucky and all that shit. You know what I mean? I want to go up north of that shit.
Kentucky, yeah, Kentucky's cool though. There's like a lot of automotive shit in Kentucky.
Well, I think what I want to do is, so I want to do a loop like that and then come
Yeah.
back down through. I don't want to take the same way home that I went
like
out
hit
there.
the Carolinas and the Virginias or something.
Maybe
on the
come
way
back down and sweep around.
I'd be
because-
down to come back through Appalachia. We could hit a couple haulers.
Yeah.
Go see
Get
like.
some moonshine.
Well, my
You don't
dad's
drink.
got that, dog.
Yeah,
I'll get
you
that
don't
right
even
now.
drink,
You already
though.
know. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
even drink.
you don't
I'm
even
sober.
drink, so-
Yeah, we can get you whatever you want, player. But that'd be cool. We could go through the Virginias. We could go like see an anti-scene show or something out there
Yeah.
in like West Virginia. I think that's where
I would
they're
be
from.
down because I know on this one I'm probably going to take like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know
I
what
was
I mean?
thinking. Was like that's a couple week thing.
Yeah.
Like go for a couple weeks. Like
Yeah.
for real. I've never done that in my life.
Yeah,
Like,
it's neither have I.
It's
like,
hard
I'm
pressed
gone a
for me
week.
to have like, cause like now I got the kid here with me. Like, it would be hard pressed for me to like. Before my vacation was always to go see her. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Cause I'm not a man of privilege.
Yeah,
So.
and I'm shit. I
And
work.
that's like where you were at for Van Nats. I had no desire to even go there because I've been there a bajillion times.
Yeah.
To
And it's-
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
And it was, I mean, where they had it, cool fairgrounds, dry county in Colorado,
Oh.
no herb, no booze.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But
so they-
Greeley's, even in Greeley? Could you go to Greeley?
well, so the closest place for anything was like 45 minutes from Sterling.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was just like, all Logan County was completely dry. So
Yeah, it was like nothing out. I thought it was weird. I'm like, well, who has this?
the only reason why they did it out there is because it was the biggest fairgrounds.
Right.
It's like 14 acres. Of
Well, that,
fairgrounds.
and they probably got a good deal on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all about money in the end to be able to throw that big of an event. You know, I mean, it takes. And shout out to if anybody is watching that helps throw those events. Shout out
Oh,
to that
yeah.
shit because that is
Whoever's
that is
doing it
nuts.
next year, yeah, you guys are on it. Like Nate did it that year. Like they're on it, man. They're big. They're real dealing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's a lot of time, effort, work.
Oh, don't I know? I've been
Fuck.
got myself wrapped up in it right now, putting on a car show.
Yeah, and it was yeah.
I forgot, man. I forgot how
Shameless plug on that one, right? Yeah. 'cause
Yeah,
I-
no, way
if
shame.
anybody's-
Lots of shame.
Yeah.
At Black Moon Revival, come on out, because I got myself into it.
And I'll be out there
forgot.
with the Astro
Yep,
for that.
Brian will be there with the Astro side piping.
Yeah.
I'll be
I'll probably
there.
set up all the bed in the back and shit, just so like I have a place to lay down and chill.
Yeah, at a 4-hour car show. Ryan will be so high at 35 minutes into it, he has to take a nap because he's an old man now.
That's right. Hell yeah.
No, man, you're going to have to be at the gate. That's where you're going to be helping me. I'm going to need some help that day.
But no, I think it'll be that one's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't
I
wait for
found
that.
bug. Look, they're right there.
Oh, they're inside the lake.
That's a big ass fly, dude.
It'll never get out.
Oh no, it can get out. It'll get out the minute we turn a
Yeah.
different light on.
Yeah. I'd be like, gotta go
Well,
find
hell
one.
yeah. Well,
Well, I appreciate you.
no,
Appreciate you chatting,
I'm
man.
glad.
That's rad.
No, dude, I'm stoked that you came up. It was, I fucking, you're the homie for sure. We've been down for a long time. Like I said, it's cool because everybody gets to cars in a different way, and it's like everybody has a different idea of what that is. Even people sometimes they don't realize it. Like
Yeah.
everybody likes cars.
Yeah.
Like I don't know anybody that doesn't like cars.
And by no means am I a fabricator at all. I like what I want, and I know people that can fabricate.
Yeah,
and
and
like,
you
do
just
this.
figure it out. Like
Yeah,
you don't
I-
also like you don't have to don't be me because you don't want to do that. You don't want to be me. Like don't be an idiot. Like I do things that I shouldn't be doing, or I try to do things when I could. Like out of necessity, I have done a lot of things, but you can also like work hard and save your ducats and have somebody else do it. Like,
well, I just don't like. Again, I just don't have
well,
the training. You know.
right, and
That's
also
it.
there's a like that's part of the reason I do some of these how-to videos. It's like because I want to show people like you can also like you can do it. Like anybody can do it. Really,
I just have-
like I don't want to. You just haven't done it, and it's scary.
Yeah.
But like anybody can do any of this. I'm not. There's nothing special about me. Like so like. You can do anything. Like if you really put your mind to it, you can figure it out. I didn't know how to make. I want to learn how to cast stuff, and then from like learning how to make a mold and then cast an object, starting with like little statues. I have now been able to transpond that in my brain to being like, okay, I could make a custom taillight lens for my car.
Yeah.
Like I know how to do that. I can make this, which other people have hit me up, and I'm like, no, dude. Like here's my tank. Like, make it.
Yeah. Do it.
You can do it. It's easy. This
if you
is
wanna do
exactly
it,
how
do
you
it.
do it. And like Dan made custom badges for his Honda motorcycle, and we made a custom emblem for Eric's shoebox Ford that's got like a switchblade and shit in it. So you can do it, but also you have to be willing to like fuck up. You have to be willing to fail as many times.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. I got my buddy Nick is going through it right now on this brake job, and I've been like helping him over the phone because I haven't had a chance to go all the way out to his house.
Yeah.
But he's like going through it, and like there's a couple times where he's like, "Ah, fuck it," and
Well,
I'm like,
and as soon as I have a garage, because I mean,
Yeah.
you living where we live, having a garage is that you can pull a car into is super rare.
yeah,
So as soon as I have a garage, that's my next step. Is
yeah. I mean,
cut-
I have a driveway
cut-
behind my
yeah.
house, which is like crazy.
yeah, it's
that I
like
even have that.
I'm super down with cutting shit off and
Yeah,
cutting shit in, welding shit in. I mean, I can weld. I'm not great at it, but you know,
I do it for a living. I'm horrible.
I've got a fucking. I've got a grinder that says I
Yeah.
can grind down shitty welds. make
a
it look
wise
good.
man, Chad Berger, once told me a grinder and paint will make you the welder yang.
Yeah, there you go. But no, I know a lot of good welders, you know, and they're just always good welders are always busy. If you're a
Yeah.
good welder, you're always
Well, they're
fucking
also like
busy.
most people that are like experts at one specific thing. They're fucking dorks,
Yeah.
and I love a dork. But sometimes I don't. Art does not require nerdism.
Yeah.
Like you can't always like if you're creating a piece of art. Sometimes you just have to do, and you have to know when are you making a show car? Are we driving?
Well, because another thing that
there's different things that happen. You know what I
just
mean?
find find an Astra that the front end's been wrecked and just hack the whole front end off, panel up that one side. Then I have an Astra trailer to pull with my Astra.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be great.
yeah,
But also, that's the thing, man. Like, they don't all have to be. Look, we ain't here forever.
yeah,
I'm not building Riddler cars for myself.
yeah, exactly.
I'm building a solid vehicle that will look cool, and of course, like everybody online keeps telling me that van is perfect. Oh my god, it's perfect for the Dodge, and I'm like. Last night, some lady said that shit, and I was like, she's like, you have to leave it just like that with the different panels, because I got the different colored doors and
Yeah.
shit on it. And I'm like, yo, this is like telling a bass head not to smoke a rock.
yeah,
It's
bro.
like,
Like, I
what do
can't
you
leave
mean,
it.
dude?
I can't
Like-
leave that.
like, I have to paint this thing eventually. This is literally what I do. Like,
Yeah.
how do I not? I have to paint it, you know? But I have a plan. I originally said I wasn't going to paint the roof flat black, but I really want to paint the roof, the cowl, the hood, like hot rod black, like a Barracuda would have been.
Yeah.
Or like a 70s, you know
Like
what I
that
mean?
satin black kind of.
Yeah,
flat
like a
black.
satin, like a semi-gloss black, and then I'll do everything else the original green. And then the inside, like the inside of the doors that you see from when you're sitting inside of it, it'll go that dark green color.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna have like 50 different shades of green. I got like I'll show you this curtain I got to cut up and make into one like curtain to go behind. I got curtains. I got all kinds of.
And that's another thing. Like, yeah, I just go to thrift stores. I'm like, oh, this would be tight in the van.
Yeah, you just find
Mhm,
stuff,
yeah.
you set it aside, and you know, like down
Eventually,
the road, you're
I'll
gonna use
implement
it.
this
Yeah, it'll
into
get
what I'm doing
implemented. Yep.
because it's a cool piece. Like, you find cool shit. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, Mel's like, why'd you buy that for? It's like right now. So, how I do stereo systems in vans, how my dad did it. You get a head unit, you have door speakers or your dash speakers, and then your rear speakers are from whatever you had in your house. And then you put those in the thing, and then you buy new house speakers. So I have 6 sets of house speakers sitting in my basement right now.
Dog, there's no. How do you do that with the amps?
Who gives a fuck?
Don't they have different impedances?
Yeah, 8 and 4. Who cares?
Yo.
Dump it
I
in
don't
there.
know
Don't
what
care.
this
Don't
crazy
care.
person is talking about, but you can catch me with the SPL 1500 hidden in the wall, rocking all kickers with a 12-inch sub, cranked to the max, rolling through the hood.
Yeah, no.
Listening to
baby.
Vince Staples with my 13-year-old.
Yeah, I have home stereo speakers of mine.
I'm only riding past Hoodie's house from now on, just beating up the block.
Yeah,
That van, dude, my stereo. I'll have to play you the stereo before you take off. But like
in the Astro or the
in my
Safari?
Safari, yeah.
I've heard it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it sounds good
That's
as
a
fuck.
dude. For as cheap as I did that, it sounds pretty good.
I mean,
I'm
I
pretty
got
stoked on that.
my Kenwoods, and they're
Right now in the
This
lock
tall
car,
one,
I'm
yeah.
rocking the $69 JVC multimedia, no CD player, just only phone with 2 Hertz 6x9s in boxes that just and actually it's like I had a Bluetooth speaker in there and I can't do it, dude. Like I gotta have tunes when I'm cruising.
Yeah,
I know there's some dudes out there like I love the sound of an engine. That's cool for you, bro. I'm crazy and I don't need to be in my head like that. So what I need to do is listen to some aggressive music.
Yeah,
Or
it's-
whatever
and
my
it's- and
vibe
that's-
is that day.
I mean, like I said, I have done like my last one. I have Rockford Fosgate 6x9s in it.
Yeah.
But under the bed, there was a fucking home stereo
speaker.
speaker.
And he
There's a
does
50
have them because I saw him in there last time and I was like, yo, why is this crazy fuck taking home speakers to van nats?
Yeah.
I literally thought that.
Dude, it was so loud. Like, but we would turn it up and we'd go roam around.
Yeah.
And you could hear that from fucking 6 blocks away.
Yeah.
And it'd be playing like Boz Skaggs, like super fucking loud.
Dude, Nate was like ruled because I was still on the weed then when we hung out up at Torque Fest a while back years ago, and that's when I met Nate. And he got a painting, that bag I have, like my messenger bag.
Mm-hmm.
Nate made that, but Nate was walking around just smoking joints, and it was me, Nate, and Zach from Heavy Clothing, and Nate's just smoking joints. Has this like portable 8-track player just listening to jazz music the whole time. I was like, what is even fucking going on?
Yeah,
man?
dude. Man, yeah. That's
And he was probably out there with that portable 8-track player at the Nats
so,
because he
so
was
many
there.
people walk by and they're like, are those fucking home stereo speakers? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, those sound really good.
You're like,
And I
those
was
are Sherwin Vegas.
No, they're Kenwoods.
Kenwood,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, dude. I had to get the, 90s.
Woods.
Yeah, I had to get the 90s.
I've
90s,
come
so.
through with some Sherwins, some Vegas.
Well, see, now those require 300 watts per speaker. These Kenwoods are like 90. So
Yeah.
I'm still underpowered right now with them.
Oh,
but they
dude,
still
but that's
sound good.
easy. I'll take you to my Middle Eastern friend, and we'll get you some SPL amplification.
That's
Get
what I
you a
need
nice
to do. Just
amplifier.
Get a good amp, and that runs off my head unit.
Yeah, Lochnar, Mylan gave me a box that has like 4 different 10-inch subwoofers in it and a bunch of Rockford Fosgate amps. So if any of that stuff's good, I'm putting all of it. I'd be honest with you, I passed up. I need to go to the antique store and see if they're still there. But there was 2 15-inch Super Blues new in box at this antique store for $50 a piece.
Nice.
And I should have bought them. Like when I was a kid, if you had a box Chevy with a 15-inch Super Blue, you was really like,
Or do you remember Here's an audio
The
company.
Pyramid, a Pyramid
No.
EQ.
No, Jensen.
Oh, Jensen's. I remember the
Yeah,
Jensen's.
dude, there was a ton of like early '80s Chevys that were all Jensens. And
Dude,
I was like, dude,
I had a Honda
haven't
Civic.
seen
I put
Jensen
all
fucking
Jensens
speakers
in
in
it.
forever.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Jensen makes speakers anymore. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. All right.
Well, cool. Well,
Hoodie,
like I
thanks
said,
for coming by. I know you got to get home to make tacos. We said we were going to do about 30 minutes. It's probably been about an hour and a half. It's probably 10 o'clock right now.
it's 9:30.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't bad. It's just
No.
over an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, so catch Ryan at, just living in Kansas City. He barbecues. He does all kinds of things. You can follow him on the gram. Is it still Hoodie Casey?
Yeah, Hoodie Casey.
Hoodie Casey. Come to the show, Black Moon Revival. You can find that on Instagram. I'll link it in the profile. It's sort of it's a cultural event bringing together people. It doesn't matter if you have whatever your flavor is. I don't care. If you're into cars, come on down. Like, it's at the 403 Club in KCK, Kansas City, Kansas. It's open to everyone. Spectating is free. I'm gonna do $5 to register your vehicle for the show is all. We're gonna have a couple charities there. It's more of just I want to bring everybody in the car worlds back together. There's a long time, like, I can go anywhere. I can go to a lowrider show, and you can too, because you know the same people as me. But a lot of people that are into cars, they don't really they feel like they're not welcome, but you are welcome. Like, cars is the one thing. Automotive is like the most inclusive community, I think, in anywhere in America. I think it encompasses everyone. No, we don't care. I don't care what color your skin is, what you do for a living, if you do illegal shit, if you don't do. There might be a cop. All of that goes out the window, and it's all about the cars, and that's the best thing, because because you can't hate on somebody, because it's art, it's all subjective. So, like, you can always find something you like.
Yeah, if somebody's telling you that you're doing it wrong, they're just a big fucking dong. That's what it is.
But also, when the more people that are like, don't do that, I'm like,
that's what I'm gonna do
I
now.
think I want to do that.
Yeah,
I think I gotta do that.
People in this forum that I am for Astras, it's like, I'm gonna throw side pipes on this. 600 comments of telling me why I shouldn't do that.
And not one of those people was at the van next.
Yeah, not one.
Not one of those people even has an Astro.
Yeah, I posted it after I got them put on, and all those people were like, "I was wrong." I was like, "Yeah, shut up. Yeah. Don't judge what other people do. Just
there was a guy once. His name's Dave Sprinkle. He's also been on the show. Dave Sprinkle said, "You can't paint backwards flames on anything," so I immediately painted backwards flames on my Iron Head, and it looked cool as hell.
Yeah.
And he was like,
"God damn it!"
But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share this with your friends if you dig it, and we'll see you next time.